So as before, I've made a very sharp edge to the outline of the drawing. What's really important here, I think, is having a very good outline of the subject. And then I'm going to nibble this back. This is quite good because we've got the grain going along this thin beak here. So pulling that back, and automatically I'll pull some of this, bit more of this back. I'm going to make these feet a bit bigger because they'll appear very small. So I'm going to make quite big feet. I can always make them smaller and nibble some of that out here. So quite accurately to the outline, but be careful not to stab in. The other thing I've done is I've scored or run my carving tools set in, where are we? This edge here. So I've stabbed that in, so I could almost take a little bit out here like I did before. So this sets in the edge of the letter. So I've come in and I've stabbed around there. So I know that's the very edge of the letter. Now this tail here is going to go back down, so there's no point me taking that right to the neat edge, but I do need to make this edge a bit neater. So taking this back down, and again this background should follow through. Quite fiddly. Nope. Picking the right tool to match that contour, so that's the edge set in. I'm going to leave that leg, I think. I know what I need. I need my little bent skew chisels in there. So when I've got most of that out, I've got a fairly clear outline here. I'm going to remove this paper, not quite ready yet. I'm going to take this a little back a bit more in here, because of course my drawing will go, and I'll set this back a little bit. Right, so I've got a good clear outline of the bird. I've stopped here because this is going to be a bit tricky to get into, but I'm going to take that down anyway. I'm being very hesitant about the feet. So what I want to do now, because the black in a way, this bird's not going to be black unless I paint it, and I'm not sure I will. I'm going to remove this paper so I can actually see the wood that I've got to play with. So I'm going to take all this off now. It's the last bit of paper. But what I do have, of course, is I do have a copy of my drawing so that I can put it in. I can put it in again. That's interesting. I wonder whether the ink acts as a bit of a... Anyway, there it is. So you can see the bird now looking more like the rest of the book. Okay, so before we go on, I want to have a little think about what we're going to do. So I've got my drawing, and one of the things you can see is I've got a very strong silhouette. So I know this is a bird, even though there's nothing in here. And you can see how the tail goes behind. So when I look at my carving, one of the things I can see is I've got a strong silhouette, and that's an important part of low relief carving, is that you know immediately what you're looking at from the outline. Very important aspect there. What I'm not going to do is just round this over. I don't have much wood to take away, but I am going to make this a tighter round here and a slower curve over there, so the whole body is sort of slightly tilted like that. And then I'm going to come down, and as we saw from the drawing, this tail goes behind there, so I'm going to run that down there behind this foot of the letter H, and then I can make the background, because it's no good me getting a nice neat edge and then taking it all away. So let's look at some of that. So this one is, let's start over here. This one's a bit more rounded, so I'm just going to come over here and round this over, like so, stopping at the foot. So this is more, this is tighter. There's still a lot of flatness here in the bird, and then this side is going to be much lower, and I need a flatter gouge for that, if I can find you, or even a flat chisel. So I'll demonstrate it more. So I'm going to come down like this, taking more wood like in this direction. So there's a big flat area still remaining in the middle, and we can suggest some feathers and perhaps the wings in there. But the main shape is rounding over here, and then a longer bit over there, but coming down to the background and leaving this slight millimetre there. Then as I come down here, following this down, I'm going to come behind that letter there. Right, so in the same way I've got some perspective in the daffodil, I'm trying to get a little bit of perspective in this. So this is coming round here, a little tighter over there. And then I'm going to draw it in. I'll just leave this bit here because this is a little bit tricky. And of course we've got the, I'm going to sort my tools out here, the head round this over. And there will be an eye in there somewhere. And then this can come, I'm a little bit, the grain's a bit odd here because it's running downhill, but I'm going to push this back, this beak a little bit back towards the background, but keep it fairly strong. Yeah, and you can see now, I think you can see that I've not really touched this bit in the middle. And I think that's, but I will just tool it over a little bit. But there's no wood taken off this area here, so it's all sloping down there, tight round this end here, and the slope goes down and back under there like that. And now I'll look at my drawing and I'll redraw those various features in. So taking this back here is no different from taking wood back anywhere else, whether it's a letter or a bird or a flower. It's the same sort of idea. I've got outlines. And then I've got to take away this background wood. So we'll use this. That's interesting, that's chipped away. I'll have to repair that a little bit. So this background, as I said, is the same depth as everywhere else. So I'm just going to lift that tail up a little bit on this edge, and then I'll want it on that one. So tricky, but it's the same idea. So I'm ending up with a nice sharp edge along here, a sharp edge along there, and this will come into here. Clean that background up, and then it's the same on this side. I've got a bit that comes out like that, just here, and then I'm going to make a little split with the tools down there. So tiny little tools sometimes you need for these carvings. Right, so we've got a nice little deep bit in there, a little bit of shadow. I'll need to tidy that edge up a little bit, make sure that runs across like that. So make sure that all is nice and clean. And we can do a little bit of modelling later on. It's picking up there. Okay, so when this is all tidied up, and I'll put there's that little division of the feathers in there. I'll just tidy all this up, and then we can move into the feet. I've got my drawing of my foot, and it comes down here. There's a big toe at the front and a little toe at the back. So it would be a waste of time though for me to sort of set all this in at this stage. What I need to do is take this back a little bit, which I'll do now, and then redraw it, because what I do want is a little ledge there, so it's sitting on it. So push that back there, and keep this soft here, so I'm going to come around here. So it's not like legs stuck onto the bird. I'm trying to get that back a little bit so that it sort of merges in. Okay, so that's back. Very little wood to play with. Looking at my drawing, I know from where I set him before, the leg comes like so. It curves in like this, like that, and then I'm on the edge of the leg here. I'll come up there like that. So it's quite a long foot at the front, a little claw there. So when I've got that, what I'm going to do is nibble this back just as before, and now set it in at this level. Sometimes I can't find the right tool. Here we go. So let's take this in here. So set that edge in. So again, a strong edge to the foot, winding up there. And nibble that back there. So the toes kick up a little bit there. And there's that tiny little piece in there. Is it the right tool for that? So that's coming out there, and then on this side again, nibble back, clean that up. So what we've done is we've actually taken it back. There's a little bit of damage there, let's clean that up. taking it back first, and then we're sorting out the depth and everything. That took quite a bit of getting out, especially this area here. That's quite tricky because the grain's going uphill here, but using very small tools, and I do have some quite small ones, is able to sort of dig that out and clean it up. So I've got a strong outline. That's what I really want, a strong outline of this foot. Then really just to make the claw, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little cave in there and another little one in there. That's all I really need to do. Probably spread that out a little bit. So it's essentially I'm going to stab in there, cut in there, and cut in there, and then come down this way and take out, come on, take out a little cave like that. That's all that's needed to give a little shadow in there. That tells you that you've got a claw. And the same on this side here. And if I want to, I can merge that in a little bit. I can just, just fetch this along here. Might look a little better. So that then is the way I'm going to do the feet. Leave them pretty much square, strong like that. And now when we've got that, I'll just tidy that up, and then we're going to look at actually modelling the bird and finishing that off. I've gone to the internet and found myself a couple of pictures of jackdaws, so I know I've got the silhouette and I've got a sense of where these feathers are and what's happening in the bird itself. There's a wing comes around here, and then it's sort of feathery bits come over here to this little bit there. So this is all wing here, this is body. And what I've done is I've started giving the head a little shape. Again, there's not very much we can do in the way of taking wood away. It's very, very light, but I can certainly give a sense of like a neck to the bird down here, and at the back here, a little depression there. So I've got a sense of the head, and there's a little, as the eye comes over, I've got a little bit of a groove here. And then really, on the basis that less is more, I'm just going to make the wings with a V-tool tilted over like this, so that the bottom edge here marries into the body, and I make a bit of a shadow for the wing, so come down here, down there, and one more down here. So just really just a sense of the wing there, quite light. And then, I get a flat gouge and merge these in a little bit here. So this will be merged in. Round the top here, I'll probably take something like instead of a V-tool, a deep veiner, a deeper gouge, so it's a bit softer, and just make that cut in there. And then I'm really left with the eye. I've drawn the eye in where I think it would go, and it's very much like what we did before at the ends of the letters. I'm going to stab this in like so, carefully. What I don't want to do is pop the wood out. Come straight in. This just carefully going round, and then with a very small gouge, this is a tiny one, I'm just going to take out wood around here. And again, what that does, it's all about light and shadow, creating a little lip of shadow around here. like that. So I'm not going to colour this jackdaw, I don't think. I haven't made my mind up quite yet. So creating a nice shadow around there. So just getting a little bit of shape, merging this body. I'll have to, this will come down a little bit here, different tool, and into there, and then that's the bird pretty much finished. The difference here will be the change of plane, and here will be a little bit of a this little groove just here comes into the eye. So that's all there is, just a few cuts here and there, just to sort of suggest the bird. That's all we can really do with this amount of wood we have to play with. Well, here we are at the end of the carving. The bird's finished. We can see the letter H quite clearly. That's part of the original surface of the book. What I would do now is I would change all my lighting, and I'd go back over this carving with a very sort of deep looking, and make sure that every corner of the surfaces were as best I can get them. And these little edges, these junctions between the book page and the background, at the actual background or at the edge, that these are looking good and clean and tidy. But there you are, that's our ornamental letter in the book. I think it looks great.